Welcome back to the Tool World Podcast. I'm your host, David Jew, and I'm here with Master Jew.
Just trying to work on that W.
Oh, yeah. You can do it two ways. You could do it this way, or you do it this way. I was also thinking you could do it like with somebody else.
Well,
you seem unsure about that.
Welcome to the podcast, there, Mr. Jew. Oh, sounds like that heart thing.
Yeah. You can do that.
Oh boy. Anyway, what do we got on the agenda today?
We're going to be talking a little bit about the straight kick.
Yeah, the straight kick. What about that? Well, someone actually asked.
Okay.
I mean, actually, shoot, I don't know if that one is discussed very much.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
Definitely we don't do it in class. There's a lot of techniques that I don't think we do a lot in class. Some of it's just maybe not interesting, or it's just a variation of something.
Well, some of these techniques just, I don't know, they just don't seem...
Yeah.
Or you do have to be a certain type of person to appreciate certain techniques.
That's true.
Like we were doing the waving kick the other day. I don't know if those little 8-year-olds were too ecstatic about it. Yeah.
Someone asked me last night about a certain kick. I forget which one it was, but they were asking, why would I do that? And it's like, because you can. It's not that you would, it's just that it's possible. Why would you punch with your right hand versus your left? It's because you can.
Right.
Or maybe one ninja got, what was the technique? Oh, it was something about, why would I do an inner forearm block versus an outer forearm block? Mm-hmm. We kind of have to discuss that. Well, they are kind of different, executed differently. It's kind of, I kind of told him he was a little kid. What if you hurt your outer forearm and you had to block again? You'd have to use your inner forearm.
Yeah. Well, I know this podcast is not about this, but recently we were talking about knife defense, and you might want to hold your hands like this
versus like
this,
That's
right?
right?
And so if my hands are like this, what part am I going to use there? I'm going to use that outer form, right?
Upper forearm, inner forearm. Yeah, I guess
Inner
so.
form, right? And if my hands are kind of like this, I might be using like the outer form. So it kind of depends on the situation.
Yeah, it kind of depends. So anyway, let's go back to that straight kick.
Okay, so
What's your understanding on that?
My understanding about the straight kick is that both legs are straight.
Right.
It comes up first. So it's kind of like a downward kick.
Right.
And you could either do a front straight kick and it goes down, or you could do a back straight kick and it goes backwards.
That's right.
Right, but the legs are straight at all times. So
correct.
What makes it different versus like a downward kick or a pick-shaped kick?
Well, it's interesting. So the first thing we should understand is that the straight kick is straight. I know you already said that. Does it look like, so you got that front straight kick. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, it almost is like a downward kick. Yet the downward kick, the knee is slightly bent. Mm-hmm. And so why should it be slightly bent versus why shouldn't it be straight? Now, some students actually do it with the leg straight on the downward kick, and that's would be incorrect. Mm-hmm. And so why is that? You want to feed in on that?
Well, one, you have to be pretty flexible to do that on that hamstring. I mean, like, to have that leg straight.
We'll just assume that everyone's
very flexible.
Very flexible.
Well, I do know from my own
right.
experience, if you hit somebody like on the clavicle, the shoulder with the leg straight, it doesn't feel good. Because it just stops. It's like you're hitting a wall.
Right. And so you have to drop it down fast. And so what does happen to those kind of ideas is that when you hit something, it's like hitting a wall, because he's standing straight up, it's coming straight down. What would happen to the knee? It would basically bend. So you want it slightly bent to give that support, so that it doesn't hyperextend the elbow.
The knee.
The knee, sorry. Yeah. Hyperextend the knee. I'm thinking of the elbow because it's kind of like that as well. When you do a reverse knife hand strike and you're hitting, let's say, 10 boards, mm-hmm, right, and you're doing reverse knife hand, do you want that arm straight? You will feel that elbow kind of bend, mm-hmm, right, especially if it's straight. So you kind of want that slightly bent so that it supports that elbow. And that's the same with that downward kick. But on the straight kick, the leg is straight and a little bit different because the attacking tool is still the back of the heel. Okay, so we want to hit with the back of the heel. But it's a lower technique, right? So we have to raise it up. That's kind of like your backward motion, and then it comes down. So it's mostly like swinging a bat, if you want to think of it that way. And so it comes straight down. Again, lower technique, maybe someone's on the ground, and you wanted to maybe kick them while they're on, or whatever. So it's a lower technique. It's not necessarily kicking someone's knee in front or something. That's kind of weird. I guess you could, right? Maybe the person's leg was out front and you wanted to do a straight kick on their leg. So it would come straight up and then it would come down on it.
You see that more, or you would think it'd be more like somebody's on the ground?
Yeah, I think it'd be more on the ground.
I don't know. Maybe our online PDF is missing a page or something. But there's no examples written. There's just a little short description.
That's true. That's true. But I think it's really a variation of the downward kick, except it's an attack that's kind of lower in that way. And so the leg can be straight. It's kind of like kicks like pressing kick. It's where you don't need to necessarily retract it, right? It's kind of like a low side piercing kick in a way, but there's no retraction. The foot position is not quite the same. So I would say that's the front straight kick.
Back straight kick?
Back straight kick.
What are you thinking about here?
Yeah, so it's still got to go up because that's your backward motion and it's going to go forward. So you're like swinging the leg and there's no knee action on that. The leg is straight again. The back of the heel is the attacking tool. I'm thinking more like, again, low techniques. I think that might be a good technique, like maybe someone's giving a bear hug or someone's relatively close, so you might be striking their shin, their knee, so it doesn't necessarily need to be bent, because it is more of a close range. Maybe there's not as much acceleration that you might have in a downward kick, so you don't have to worry about those kind of things.
Right.
Again, these techniques are more like you're not driving them to the ground. They're more like standing up.
Right.
And so that's also a good point. Like, for instance, I was talking to an instructor and they were talking about, straight kicks. Would a reverse turning kick be a straight kick? It's a reverse turning kick. But the leg is straight.
Right.
Right? And when it hits a target. So it's, it is. We don't call it a straight kick. It's a reverse turning kick. But the leg is straight. And the point being was that it's a good way, like you do front rising exercise. It's the leg. If you do that, you want to try to create that flexibility. How do we get flexibility? And one way would be to do that exercise by pulling the foot back, pull the toes back, try to keep the legs straight, and that will help give you that flexibility. Do we want that kind of flexibility? Yeah, you kind of need that flexibility for lots of reasons. Walking stance, the back leg's got to be straight, yet some people can't do that, right? Without, and when they do that, then the heel is off the ground, but you need the heel on the ground for that stability. Again, these things are theoretical when you start to think about how can I create maximum stability, maximum power. Techniques have to be done a certain way, yet if you can't do it, then you would never actually be able to achieve that maximum capability, right? And so, yeah, could you do a straight kick with the knees slightly bent because you don't have that foot? Well, yeah, that's going to be what it's going to be, right? But if we want the maximum capability, you need to work on those flexibility or those skill sets to achieve that.
Right.
And doing certain kicks where you're locking out the leg, reverse turning kick would be a good example, right? Back straight kick, that have to be straight.
Right.
Your thoughts?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
You agree? You just say yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let us know your guys' thoughts on straight kick. And as always, don't forget to be safe.
Keep training.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Take one.